We're going to call the meeting for Akron City Council to order. Clerk will read the roll.
Baylor.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Freeman.
Aye.
Fusco.
Aye.
Kamer.
Aye.
Lombardo.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Malik.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Omobian.
Aye.
Samples.
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
Swirsky. Swirsky.
Aye.
Thank you. All members are present.
Thank you so much. As we begin to conduct council meetings back to our regular agenda, we will now open our meeting with prayer. I'm actually going to ask if Councilman Freeman will lead us in prayer. Immediately following our prayer, we will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm going to ask if Councilman Swirsky can do that for us.
Father in heaven, we thank you for your great love that you showed us. Each morning, your mercies are new. And we just thank you that from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. Ask God that you would visit us this evening with your wisdom. We pray, God, for our city. We thank you for the position that you've placed us in. And may this city and its people be lights set on a hill, shining for your honor and glory. We pray in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, I'm about to lead the pledge, but I just want to mention that tonight is the end of Yom Kippur, and I just want to wish everyone peace and love and justice in honor of that great tradition. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Councilman Swirsky. Before we move into our regularly scheduled agenda, I'm just going to ask if we could please have a moment of silence. On last week, we did lose Reverend Dr. Diana Swoop, who was the senior pastor of Arlington Church of God, who truly was a really champion in the city of Akron, very active in the community, extremely active in the church, and not just in Akron, but all across the world. And she represented Akron so well. Her loss truly will be felt. And so we just want to continue to keep her family and her church family in prayer. So just going to ask for a moment of silence for Reverend Dr. Diana Swoop. Thank you so much. At this time, all council members have been provided a copy of the minutes from our previously held meeting. Are there any additions or corrections? If not, can we have a motion to approve? Councilman McKittrick?
So move.
Is there a second by Councilwoman Baylor?
Second.
Roll call.
Baylor.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Freeman.
Aye.
Fusco.
Aye.
Kamer.
Aye.
Lombardo.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Malik.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Omobian.
Aye.
Samples.
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you so much. We have no items on the consent agenda. We do have 3 public hearings scheduled for this evening. If clerk will read in item number 1.
Notice is hereby given that the following public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, September 28th, 2020, during the council meeting at 7 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a doggy daycare, boarding, and grooming facility at 863 East Market Street.
Thank you so much. And at this time, do we have Benita Gadsden with us?
She is not with us. She sent in a written testimony, though.
Okay. And clerk, are you going to read that once Mr. Antonucci presents? Okay. Mr. Antonucci?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of council. Benita Gadsden proposes to establish a doggy daycare, grooming, and boarding business at this location. The building will contain 9 overnight kennels and separate indoor play areas for larger dogs and also smaller and older dogs. A reception area, office, storage space, and grooming area will be located within the building. An enclosed outdoor dog play area will be installed against the north and east sides of the building. The site will have 6 paved parking spaces under lease from the abutting property to the east at 875 East Market Street. The hours of operation will be Monday through Friday from 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. with weekend hours set aside for drop-off and pickup of animals. The daycare is anticipated to handle approximately 40 to 50 dogs a day. The building has been vacant for some time, and the proposed reuse should be compatible with surrounding business uses. All overnight boarding of animals is to be indoors. The fencing will shield the outdoor play area from East Market Street and the residences to the north. And both Planning Commission and Planning staff recommend approval subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Antonucci. So at this time, we'll have the clerk read in the written statement provided to us by Ms. Benita Gadsden.
My name is Benita Gadsden, and I'm planning to operate a doggy daycare, boarding, and grooming facility at 863 East Market Street. Operating hours are Monday through Friday from 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. There is no daycare on weekends. We are open 4 hours on Saturday and Sunday for our customers to pick up or drop off their dogs or cats for overnight boarding. Dog waste on the property will be bagged, picked up immediately, and disposed of. There will be a fenced-in outdoor play area in the rear of the building. Dogs will always be supervised both indoor and outside. Daycare dogs must be picked up during the week by 6 p.m. to avoid a $50 late pickup fee. No dogs will be outside after 5:30 p.m. unless to relieve themselves.
Thank you. Councilman Fusco?
Yes, thank you, President Somerville. I would like to pull the committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Samples,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Baylor,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
Thank you. The committee's report is favorable and we ask for suspension of the rules.
Councilman Fusco, any further comments?
Just that I do know that Council Representative Sharon Connor conducted a meeting in the field with the petitioner and concerned neighbor and the planning department and is in favor of this. And the petitioner has agreed to all the conditions, and we ask that we move forward on this proposed conditional use. Thank you.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 13-0. Public hearing number 2. Notice is hereby given that the following public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, September 28th, 2020, during the council meeting at 7 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a Type A daycare home at 874 Dawson Road.
Thank you so much. Is Shayla Averett on the call with us this evening? I don't believe that she is. So at this time, Mr. Antonucci?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of council. Shayla Everett is requesting permission to establish a child daycare business center at this location. Proposed daycare business center would be located on the main floor of this ranch-style 1,300 square foot home. Facility would provide services and activities for up to 12 children, ranging from 2 years to 12 years of age. Would be operated Monday through Friday and every other weekend from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The property does contain an outdoor fenced play area. The proposed use should not be intrusive to the neighborhood, as the majority of the activities are conducted indoors. Providing care for up to 12 children should not have a detrimental effect on nearby homes. Providing quality daycare services is beneficial to the neighborhood and the entire city, and as such, the planning staff and planning commission recommend approval subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Antonucci. Councilman Fusco?
I'd like to pull the committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes. Swirsky,
Aye.
Baylor,
Aye.
Gamer,
Aye.
Samples.
Aye.
Yes, the report of the committee is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Thank you so much, Councilman Fusco. Do you have anything further to add on this ordinance, this piece?
No, we heard the report from Mr. Antonucci that there's conditions here with this conditional use, and obviously we recommend approval.
Okay, thank you so much. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Friedman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 13-0. Our third public hearing tonight is notice is hereby given that the following public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, September 28th, 2020, during the council meeting at 7 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a Type A daycare home at 408 Aqueduct Street.
Thank you so much. And I think one of our petitioners is online with us. Jamie, can you hear us? Jamie, I think you're muted.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Jamie, thank you so much. At this time, I'm just going to ask that you be sworn in by a member of our law department, okay?
Okay, thank you.
If you could raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Madam President, would you like me to swear the second witness in as well?
Yes, if we have one, yes.
Okay, Ms. Denholm? Ms. Denholm, are you also testifying at this hearing? You're muted.
Yes, I can be. Yes.
Okay, please raise your right hand.
Oh,
Do you
yep,
swear?
right hand.
Got it. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Antonucci?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of council. Jamie Thiel is requesting permission to establish a child daycare business center at this location. The daycare center, also known as Square Roots, would be located on the main floor of the two-story home. The facility would provide services and activities for up to 12 children, ages 5 years and under. It would be operated between the hours of 8 a.m. To 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and closed on weekends. The property contains a fully enclosed outdoor play area. Proposed use should not be intrusive to the neighborhood as the majority of the activities are conducted indoors. Providing care for up to 12 children under the age of 6 should not have a detrimental effect on nearby homes. Children would be dropped off and picked up through the pull-off parking area recently created through the Green and Complete Streets improvements to Aqueduct Street. Since the children are dropped off and picked up at various times of day, traffic congestion should not be an issue, and both Planning Commission and planning staff recommend approval subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Jamie Field, would you like to speak in favor of this conditional use?
Yes, and I'm just here to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Okay, Jamie, thank you so much. Colleen, did you want to add anything before we vote?
No, I was just here as a neighbor that's directly adjacent to Jamie's home. And I just wanted to be here for support, that in case anybody had any problems with her having this business at her residence. Since we were right next door, I just wanted to say I support it, and I enjoy hearing the laughing children in the morning.
Colleen, thank you so much. Councilman Fusco?
Yes, I'd like to poll the committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Mr. Swirsky?
Absolutely, yes.
Baylor?
Yes.
Kamer?
Aye.
Samples?
Aye.
Thank you. The report of the committee is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
The rules have been suspended. Councilman Fusco?
Yeah, you heard a resounding yes from the ward council person, Mr. Swirsky, who's in favor of this, as commented during the committee today. The recommendation from the planning department and commission is favorable, and we're asking for passage this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 13-0.
Thank you. Councilman Fusco, what is your pleasure on the rest of the agenda for planning and economic development?
Yes, thank you, President Somerville. The request of the committee is for time on 4 through and including 16. We would like to recommend a favorable report with suspension of the rules on item number 17.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thank you, President Somerville. This is the Emergency Solutions Grant Program. This is permitting the planning director to enter into a contract to receive these funds, $535,714 worth, as well as $30,000 of CDBG funds. Recommend approval this evening.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Abstain.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 12-0 with 1 abstention by Amobian.
Councilman Fusco?
Yes, thank you. The report of the committee on item number 18 is for suspension of the rules with a favorable report.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thank you, President Somerville. This is the city of Akron selling property, vacant lot 316 on Beaver Street. It's for $262, 4,400 square feet of land area, which we understand that there's a proposal for new housing, for new house. So hoping this goes forward and recommend approval. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 13-0.
Councilman Fusco.
Thank you. Item number 19, the request of the committee is for suspension of the rules with a favorable report.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you. We wanted to give, excuse me, we wanted to give council time to review this. This is a lease agreement with Akron Fulton Airport and American Winds. It's a flight school that is starting up at the airport. This would be a lease agreement between the city and American Winds. And after careful review, the committee recommends approval.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Hamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Councilman Fusco.
Aye.
Yes, the request of the committees for time on 20 through and including 37. The request of the committee is to file items 38, 39, and 40. Explanation is that these are the petitions for the 3 items that we had just voted on. And then the request of committees for time on the balance of the agenda. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you so much. We will continue with our old business, public service, Councilwoman Samples.
Time, please.
Time will be granted. Public safety, Councilman Kamer.
Thank you, President Somerville. Continue time, please.
Time will be granted. Health and social services, Councilwoman Amobian.
The committee's report is favorable and we are asking for suspension of the rules.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended. Councilwoman Amobian.
Essentially, last week, Ms. Rose invited council members to be a part of the Racial Equity and Social Justice Task Force, later recognizing that according to the information she received from the legal department, that would be a conflict of interest. So council members still have access to all of the live stream meetings. They can observe, just can't, I guess it can't be an active participant based on that ruling. With that in mind, we're asking for passage tonight.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Amobian.
I don't know if you wanted to speak to anything else, Madam President, or not.
No, I think you did well, but I do want council members to know that council does have a seat at the table. So as president, I am there, and if there's any questions, ideas, or things that you want me to bring towards the task force, we do have that ability. Councilman Fusco.
Thank you, President Somerville. I was so glad to see that heading up this task force will be Bishop Joey Johnson. We all know Bishop Joey Johnson and his passion for the community. This is absolute, without question, the perfect person to lead this effort. Bishop Joey and I, and as well as most of us here on this council and the community, we've had a lot of conversations about just these type of issues. And so I was very happy to see this. And I congratulate the mayor and President Somerville for getting this started, getting this going, and having the smarts, if you will, to have Bishop Joey head this, because we will after this is over, we'll be thankful for his leadership with regards to this. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilman Fusco. Well said. So we definitely want to thank Bishop Joey Johnson. We want to thank all of the community leaders and activists who have donated their time as we look to fight racism as a public health crisis here in the city of Akron. And I also want to thank Mayor Horgan for all of his support in pulling this endeavor together. I know we do have Bishop Joey Johnson on the line. I don't know if he wants to bring forth some comments.
Yeah, I'll say a word.
Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity. With God's help, I'll do the best I can to try to bring people together to make recommendations that are going to make the city of Akron better in the future. And so it's going to be a big job. We're going to need the Lord's help. But if we can work together, I think it's an exciting opportunity. I'm glad the mayor started this, and I'm extremely grateful for the trust that the city and others are placing in me. You better pray hard.
Bishop, thank you so much. The committee's report is favorable. The rules have been suspended. Roll call.
Baylor.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Freeman.
Aye.
Fusco.
Aye.
Kamer.
Aye.
Lombardo.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Malik.
Aye.
Neal.
Abstain.
Amobian.
Abstain.
Samples.
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 11-0 with 2 abstentions.
Thank you. That now concludes our old business. We will now move into new legislation.
Item number 1, offered by Mayor Horgan, President Somerville, Councilman Fusco, and Swirsky. Resolution acknowledging the accomplishments, legal career, and public service of United States Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, expressing condolences and sympathy to the family of Justice Ginsburg on her recent passing, encouraging the United States Senate to delay any confirmation hearings for the appointment of a new Supreme Court Justice until after the 2021 presidential inauguration, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Councilman Freeman.
Yes, the committee met today and the report is favorable and asking for suspension of the rules.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, you have before you a resolution kind of in 2 parts. First of all, acknowledging the life of Justice Ginsburg, who we lost just last week. And then also asking that the United States Senate delay any confirmation on the hearings appointing a new justice. And with that, we ask for its passage.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to take an opportunity to defer to one of the sponsors, Councilman Swirsky.
I'd like to, again, talk a little bit about Justice Ginsburg and her importance and how she set the stage for what we need to do in terms of urging the Senate to hold off on hearings till after we pick a new president. But Ginsburg was incisive, sharp, fueled by a thirst of justice, born out of her own experiences and a Jewish tradition that emphasizes healing the world, tikkun olam. No law firm would hire her, even though she had graduated at the top of her class. When she got a job as a professor, she was paid less than her colleagues. But her family and her Jewish community all grew up in the shadow of the Holocaust. And so Ginsburg went on a crusade. Before Ginsburg, state-funded schools didn't have to admit women. Women couldn't sign a mortgage or have a bank account without a male co-signer. She helped make strides towards equal pay. She preserved a woman's right to choose. She pushed to protect pregnant women in the workplace. She supported same-sex marriages. Ginsburg was someone who inspired millions to fight the good fight and the practice of tikkun olam, the healing of the world. She helped shape today's modern society. So all of us, if we care about Ginsburg and the accomplishments that she drove into American society, all of us who care about these things, women's rights, gun control, environmental protection, and affordable health care, the right for people who have pre-existing conditions to get adequate health care. We need to join together and join with voices around the country, calling on the US Senate to delay confirmation hearings so the next president can choose her replacement.
Thank you, Councilman Swirsky. Well said. At this time, do we have any other comments by any other council members at this time? I know that during committee meeting, there was
A motion to do council as a whole.
yeah, so we do have a motion on the floor for mayor and council as a whole. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Councilman Swirsky's going to second it. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Abstain.
Busco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This resolution passes 12-0 with one abstention by Freeman. Item number 2, offered by Freeman. Ordinance authorizing the purchasing agent to enter into a contract or contracts without the formality of advertising for bids for the purchase of annual subscriptions and maintenance packages for the software currently used by various departments of the city through December 31st, 2021, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Freeman,
Would like to refer this to our regular agenda.
this item will be referred.
Item number 3, offered by Fusco. Ordinance authorizing the purchasing agent to purchase 2 desks, units, and cubicles and related furnishings from Environments for Business LLC without the formality of advertising for bids for workspace in the Office of Integrated Development and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco,
Consent agenda.
this item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 4, offered by Samples. Ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service without the formality of publicly advertising for bids to enter into a contract or contracts with Pro Door and Security Incorporated for the installation of an integrated door security system at the Municipal Service Center and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman Samples,
Thank you, Madam President. Consent agenda, please.
this item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 5, offered by Samples. Ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service to enter into an agreement or agreements and/or legislation with the Ohio Director of Transportation for certain improvements at various intersections in the city of Akron identified by the State of Ohio's statewide safety project and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman Samples,
Consent agenda, please.
this item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 6, offered by Samples. Ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into a contract with Sourcewell without the formality of advertising for bids for the purchase of Toter Incorporated's trash and recycle carts and associated repair and replacement parts for use by Public Works Bureau and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman Samples,
Consent agenda, please.
this item will also be placed on the consent agenda.
And item number 7, offered by Samples, ordinance authorizing the purchasing agent to issue purchase orders without the formality of advertising for bids to Wolf Brothers Supply Incorporated for the acquisition of miscellaneous materials for city's building maintenance division and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman Samples.
Consent agenda.
This item will also be placed on the consent agenda. We will now move to the portion of our meeting that we refer to as our public comment period. And we're going to ask if Council Clerk will read in comments received. And I do believe we do have one comment via voicemail as well.
Correct. This first comment is from Gwendolyn Wilson Cobbs. The interpretation I made upon reading Chief Ball's comments in the September 14th Akron Beacon Journal was that he was unhappy to have his many good officers judged by the actions of a tiny minority, that the public has no clear understanding of or compassion for the daily stressors officers endure, that officers who daily endanger their lives deserve the understanding and support of the community to which they belong. What distressed me was that in the newspaper article, I saw limited compassion or empathy for anyone except officers. I wanted Chief Ball to offer to others the compassion and empathy he would like from City Council and the public. My life experiences support the mayor's statement that racism is real and its influence exists in every structure of society, including government. I was left with the impression that the chief does not believe the statement applies to his officers or department. I believe the chief was angry and hurt by what he views as unfair treatment. Living in a Black body, I can relate to the unfairness of being judged by a group membership or the actions of a tiny minority. Through no direct fault of our own, we live with multiple systems that assume that Black bodies are dangerous or violent or that their presence is undesirable. I thought about a stressed officer who might go home to enjoy temporary respite from the burdens of the uniform if he removed that uniform. Those of us who live in Black bodies have no such respite. I want the chief to know that his concerns have been heard. I also want to know that there is space for the assertion and examination of perspectives in addition to his own. He works in a profession in which practitioners have state-sanctioned right to take life. It is an essential duty of government to ask questions when any fallible system gives this power to a human being, including the most dedicated police officer. This is from Leanne and Chris Thibault. Dear Mr. Westcott, Councilman Malik, and Akron City Council members, we have been Cuyahoga Falls residents for the past 6 years and have lived at our current property at 2452 Tice Road since February of 2016. The main reason we originally considered moving to this area in Ohio was due to the parks, trails, trees, and a mix of lively downtown areas and quick access to the woods and outdoor recreation. We were so impressed that the cities of Akron and Cuyahoga Falls would leave such an area to nature and allow our section of town to benefit from its natural habitats. After hearing about the proposed housing development on Tice and Hardy Roads, we were deeply saddened. The dark night sky, quiet flora and fauna, and water runoff in the woods will be forever changed in a negative way if this development comes to fruition. Many nights we sit and view the stars, listen to the coyotes, and watch the bats and synchronous fireflies with silence only disrupted by infrequent passing cars. We fear that will drastically change with the up to 110 new parcels across the street. Also, this development will tie into Cuyahoga Falls water and use the Woodridge schools, all while taking away our landscape and introducing more light, noise, and water pollution. The current proposals for the near 45-acre property are concerning. They have far too many parcels crammed into the space, not enough green space or concern for the current natural habitats, and not nearly enough trees left to properly filter noise pollution. What is also aggravating are the developers' taglines boasting such things as city living in the woods. There are no woods when they are torn down to make space for such condensed developments. Also, many of the proposals plan for multiple driveways directly on an already dangerous part of Tice Road where it curves, changes elevation, and sees much dump truck and bicycle traffic. At the very least, we would like to call for mandates for the developers to decrease the number of parcels, ensure more green building practices, only install dark sky-friendly outdoor lighting, and drastically increase the amount of green space. Overall, we implore you to stop this project and allow the Western Reserve Land Conservancy to protect this land. We are tired of seeing landscapes torn down around us and replaced with overcrowded developments. To add, we are not seeing one positive comment on public forums nor have we spoken with anyone personally who holds a positive view about the City of Akron's choice to ruin the unique character of these neighborhoods. We welcome any direction as to how to properly petition against this development, understanding that door-to-door petitioning is not responsible during the COVID-19 pandemic, and how to better mark our grievance to the Akron City Council. We respect the thought and hard work that goes into each decision within the city government and would so appreciate consideration of the residents of both Akron and Cuyahoga Falls that would be impacted by this development. This is from Edric Harris and Renata Griffith Hambrick. Greetings, City Council. My initial email on July 9th was to request that a radar trailer be placed along the 900 block of East Avenue and to assist with slowing down the traffic along that road. My follow-up email on July 17th was gotten unanswered. I've contacted a different councilman in a different district and received an immediate response on August 10th that he would contact you on our behalf, and there still has been no response. And here it is September 24th, and my family is still facing troubling and more nerve-wracking issues. On Tuesday, the 22nd of this month, September, a vehicle fleeing from the police came flying down the hill of Bisson Avenue, smacked the guardrail, and the impact caused his vehicle to hit my sister's vehicle and possibly totaling it. Prior to this incident, a vehicle came speeding down East Avenue, lost control, hit the guardrail hard enough that it was bent towards my sister's residence and almost caused her home to be damaged again. Prior to that incident, a woman lost control of her vehicle coming down Bisson and physically drove through the house, causing major damage. All of these incidents have been recorded with the Akron Police Department. However, nothing has been done to date to slow down the traffic and protect the citizens and their property on the 900 or any block of East Avenue. Just last year or the year before, a person lost control of his or her vehicle, flipped on its side, slid across the yard of 959, and took off the neighbor's entire front porch. These occurrences may not have happened if A, speed humps, speed radar could be used. I've noticed there are humps by the Akron Zoo. B, Bisson Avenue could be made a one-way street going uphill and not down a steep hill. C, better security or stabilization of the guardrail. This would also save the city money having to deal with guardrail repairs every few months. I would love to include photos and a copy of the police reports. However, I do not want this email with these documents just sitting. I am enclosing the video and news link from when the car went through the residence of my family. Hopefully this will get the attention of someone who could assist with this matter. We look forward to hearing back from you or a representative of your office to help protect the property and the citizens along with the children along East Avenue. This is from Mike Winter and Shelley Pearsall, Random House author. Dear Mayor Horrigan and Akron City Council, I am opposed to the proposed Tice Road development in the Merriman Valley, as I expressed in my recent Akron Beacon Journal opinion letter. This is a short-sighted decision that will have long-term implications for the health and well-being of Akronites in the valley. To sell the city's last and largest slice of unspoiled green space for high-end houses that many Akronites cannot afford shows a complete disregard for the people you represent. This property is close to the National Park and adjacent to Hampton Hills mountain bike area. A conservation organization has agreed to buy it at your asking price. Selling this land for parkland would expand the recreational opportunities for all Akronites for years to come, as more and more people use the parks. I am also concerned about the environmental impact of hundreds of additional vehicles on our fragile valley. I live in the valley, and the valley roads are already dangerously gridlocked on most blossom evenings. The valley and Cuyahoga River are already experiencing flooding issues, and some new developments have yet to be completed. More concrete, fewer trees, and many more cars is a recipe for disaster. Please consider this hasty decision. Don't destroy our valley's green space forever in order to make a deal that primarily benefits big developers who don't live here.
Hello, Akron City Council members.
Sorry. No.
Located at 64.
Can you hear anything?
Unmute it. I think it's muted right there.
Nothing happens when I click that.
No, okay, try playing. Can you hear anything?
Nope. So louder.
Hello, Akron City Council members. This is Carol Coleman Crane with Team Towing and Service, located at 645 Carroll Street in Akron, and we reside in Ward 5 with the lovely Tara Mosley Sample. It's so good to be able to address you all. I hope you and your families are well. We are doing well at Team Towing. And my reason for addressing you all is to ask to be included in the Akron Police Department Towing District. In particular, I am asking for Ward 5, which is the location of my business. We have been at this location for over 5 years, and we meet all the requirements from the Ohio Revised Code to tow vehicles for APD. We here at Team Towing and Service provide 24-hour dispatching and service over 50% of the residents in Akron and surrounding communities. Thankfully, we are an essential business, and we were able to remain open throughout the earlier days of the pandemic. And I can't tell you how many times people in Akron have phoned us, even still in the beginning as well, just asking for tows all throughout the night because they can't find anybody to tow their vehicles. We've remained open. We provide 24-hour service, and I'm very happy about that. We've been able to average towing about 2,500 vehicles each month for Akron for the AAA residents since 2020 began. So we've been able to maintain those numbers average throughout. We were dipped a little low there for a bit, but we've been able to pick that up, not completely pre-pandemic, but we have picked up the numbers quite a bit. We could not have done this without our dedicated employees who came to work, refused to allow residents of the city of Akron to be stranded. They came and they were committed to doing their jobs. I would also like to let you know that the bidding process for towing Akron City vehicles, that renews every 3 years. I've had my application in there for a couple of years, but thankfully that renewal period just came back open. So hopefully Team Towing will now be included in the City of Akron vehicles. I am asking for a fair and equitable distribution of the district. I am asking for Team Towing and Service to be included in.
Thank you so much. So that concludes our public comment period. Just want to thank all of those who participated in our public comment period on this evening. We are first going to go into our committee assignments, rules, Councilman Freeman.
3 p.m.
Public safety, Councilman Kamer.
2:15.
Budget and finance, Councilman Freeman.
3 p.m. And if I could, please, I'd like to change rules to 2:45.
Okay. Parks and Rec, Councilman Neal.
1:45.
Planning and Economic Development, Councilman Fusco.
1.
Housing and Neighborhood Assistance, Councilman Fusco.
Subject to a call.
Public Service, Councilwoman Samples.
2 p.m.
Health and Social Services, Councilwoman Amobian.
2:30.
Public Utilities and Green Committee, Councilman Swirsky. Councilman Swirsky. Public Utilities and
2:45.
2:45. Thank you so much. Now we will go into, is there anything else coming before council? I do see that Councilman Malik's hand is raised.
Yes, thank you very much. There were just a couple comments that I wanted to address from the public comment period. The first comment from Ms. Wilson Cobbs, she had originally sent that as an email to me, and I encouraged her to share it with everyone because I really thought that that was like an eloquent and a compelling perspective on the situation. You know, we've all been trying to have difficult conversations and, you know, valuing the service of our officers and the dangers they face, while also recognizing that, you know, we have to answer the call for racial justice in all areas, including policing and safety. So I really appreciate her sharing that. And then on the comments about the Tice Road proposal, as I mentioned last week, we're going to continue having conversations. Councilman Swirsky and Frank Stams, who's the councilman in Cuyahoga Falls for the Valley, we've had a lot of conversations. Are going to continue to have these conversations. Also, the administration, has been very open about where they're going, and so we do need to address the concerns that folks, the funny thing about the Valley is that it is shared between Akron and Cuyahoga Falls. And so what happens in an Akron parcel might affect someone in Cuyahoga Falls and vice versa. And so I think it's important to listen to all the voices and try to address some of the concerns and find a smart way to move forward. So, thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilor Malik. Is there anything else coming before council at this time? Councilman Fusco?
Motion to adjourn?
We have a motion to adjourn. Can we get a second by Councilwoman Samples?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Meeting adjourned.
This concludes the live broadcast of Akron City Council. Margot Somerville presiding.